This is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Couple of updates here. First, the most important one. We are heading to overtime out at the Garden, the alleged place in which Paul Bovey watched NBA basketball today. Not the case. He was actually out in Orlando, the Magic City. Jason Tatum hits a three with 2.9 seconds left to go, and Josh Hart cannot respond. If you're wondering why is Josh Hart taking the game-winning three, or the potential game-winning three, the Celtics were great on defense. Almost committed a 5-second violation. The Knicks did, so had to inbound and get it to Hart pretty quickly, and a fading jump shot does not fall. So we're going to overtime. I am going to get a little lucky here, Matt. I had over the team total of the Boston Celtics at 113.5, as we talked about at the beginning of the show. They have 107 points.
That's a lot lucky, actually. Not just a little. That's a lot lucky.
Just said lucky. You don't
get
have
a late three to force overtime?
You don't have to rub
If you were on the opposite side of that, that'd be a brutal beat, right?
It would not be one that I would enjoy taking, that's for sure. But I knew it the whole time. I figured that this had a high probability of going to overtime and that I would have a good shot at maybe getting this over if they didn't get it.
That's right. Some people say you bet overs.
That's right.
Because the game might go to overtime.
That's right. Every single time. All right. So 107, 105, the other update here. Oklahoma City up on top with 8:50 left to go in the fourth quarter against the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a good game.
It's a really good game tonight.
So far, so good.
Looked like Thunder might pull away. Lakers pulling back in, and now we get a 2-point game with 8.5 minutes to go.
The Lakers, too, I mean, you got to be kicking yourself a little bit. 16 turnovers for the Lakers to just 5 for the Thunder. You're only down by 2. So if you'd stop giving the ball away,
right,
pretty good argument to make that you would be leading in this game and by more than just a single possession if you stop giving away the extra possessions on the other end. So 2-point game, 8.5 minutes left to go. And I did want to add, you brought up the Jalen Wells deal. The rookie for the Memphis Grizzlies. I did want to bring this up because we should point this out. Wells is having a tremendous rookie year this year, and there are some who have pointed out, including Matt Moore, who writes a little bit on the side and does some stuff for the Action Network, is a good NBA writer. I don't know if he has an actual vote or not, but had pointed out that Jalen Wells was his rookie of the year this year. So Jalen Wells is going to be in contention for that award down the stretch. So that is also something to consider, is whether or not he is going to win this award, but also just to note that one of the contenders for one of the main awards was injured today and will be done for the foreseeable future, considering he broke his wrist, according to Shams Charania. So tough loss there. I do have a Wells ticket. I don't know if he's going to win it or not, but a double-digit scorer for a team that it looked like at one point was maybe going to be the 3 seed in the Western Conference. Obviously, that's fallen to the side, but
I don't think at this point, with or without Wells, you thought the Grizzlies were going to do anything in the playoffs anyway, right?
No, that was a team that is, as we had discussed many times for the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm not a big fan of them on offense. Now they changed the way that they play, but still, it just doesn't really look absolutely right. And not a fan of really now without Jenkins. I don't know if I trust that team on a X's and O's basis. Do you have a coach that can help you win at the margins? I think Jenkins was that. I don't know if the current staff is capable of doing that. So I think they're just a flawed team. And by the way, I mean, their half-court offense has stunk throughout the entire year. Ja is a liability on defense. There's no hiding you when you're talking about the postseason. And he will be a main target in any playoff series or in a play-in game, which right now they are slated to play in. So, I'm not the biggest fan of the Memphis Grizzlies.
How many teams could actually make the OKC Thunder sweat in the West?
I would say there's
Rockets.
Theoretically, there's a few. The Rockets are interesting. So the reason why we should explain this too, and I brought this up to Dave and Jensen because they brought up the Rockets with me earlier today too. The reason why there is this hesitancy to believe in the Houston Rockets, it's legitimate. It's not just one of these like, this team hasn't proven anything, so we're going to make them a very long shot to win this. Well,
whoever said that didn't watch the Rockets-Warriors game over the weekend.
Sure, of course. It's fair.
Or hasn't been watching the Rockets very much because that's a pretty damn talented team, man.
They're a talented team.
I think a lot of people, like you said about the Houston Cougars, I think a lot of people are actually kind of sleeping on the Houston Rockets.
Yes. But here's the thing, and I think, like I said, there's a legitimate reason as to why I think there are many who do not take them seriously. The Rockets, if you look at just their numbers on the surface, you would think that this is a team that is great. Third best in defensive efficiency. Mm-hmm. That is legitimate. That is fantastic. And they're actually top 10 in offensive efficiency. They score about 116.5 points per 100 possessions in non-garbage time. Very good. The problem is when you actually dive into the way that they score, it's not something that seems very sustainable. They are 23rd in half-court offensive rating. So against set defenses, they're one of the worst offenses in the NBA. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to score against half-court sets in the NBA postseason. It's just not something that you can sustain over the course of multiple playoff series. If you're, by the time we get to the final 8 on each side, if you're one of the worst, if not the worst half-court offense, you're not going to have a long shelf life in the association in the postseason. You can only grit your way through so much.
Right.
The other thing they've done to supplement their offense, they are the number 1 offensive rebounding team in half-court sets, so they're grabbing second-chance opportunities, similar to what we actually talked about with the Texas A&M team, just not as that extreme, but the dump and chase mentality, right? Hey, we're going to miss some of our first shots, but we're going to lead the league in put-back opportunities and put-back attempts and put-back points per 100 possessions, and we're going to supplement our offense by doing that and also getting out in transition, especially off of turnovers, and creating those opportunities. That is not a formula that is sustainable over the course of an NBA postseason, I think, and I think many believe, to win multiple series and then eventually win an NBA Finals. So I think that's the glaring issue with this team. But who knows? Maybe Amin Thompson really develops, and out of nowhere you have a half-court dynamo who can really help you out in those settings, and him and Alperen Sengun just dominate, and their half-court offense becomes much better.
How about the defense? But
the defense is awesome. I just don't think you can grit your way through playing 3 or 4 playoff series and win an NBA Finals.
I don't think they're going to win the West. I just say, can they make the Thunder sweat? Make OKC sweat it out? Because also when you get into the playoffs, defense is more of a priority. Mm-hmm. And the Rockets can obviously get dirty on the defensive
What is your
end,
definition of sweat?
Push OKC to like 6 games or something in a series.
I think you could see that. I can see OKC winning
an
a series.
Extended series?
Sure. I don't know if that really does get to 7. I think Oklahoma City's a much better team than them. I think defensively, you can really make the Rockets look pretty poor on offense and make it look really ugly. But maybe Houston's going to be good enough on the other end that they're going to be able to drag them down into the mud. But yeah, if your definition is sweat, like push them to 6 games, yeah. I mean, we saw a lesser Hawks team do that to Boston a couple of years ago.
That's the truth. Yeah, kind of forgot about that.
Right.
Last year, actually, I did not think the Mavericks were going to beat the Thunder in that series last year. But Luka went berserk and had a little bit of help, too.
Well, and as we saw in that series, too.
You know what? OKC, I thought a little bit their performance was a little disappointing in that series last year, too.
Well, and as
they've grown up from that, obviously.
Yeah. I also think, again, this a lot of people might scream at their televisions or whatever it is, like, that's nonsense. You go back to last year, and in that series against the Dallas Mavericks, the shooting variance was insane in terms of what they were able to not do from a shooting standpoint. They shot less than 33% in 4 of the 6 games in which they played against Dallas. Right. Under 33% or worse. In 2 games, they shot under 30% from 3. It's not what the Thunder are. They're a good shooting team. That's pretty insane. So I think they're going to be able to bounce back from that postseason loss.
What is the call here? Luka and the Lakers are going crazy. There's some sort of call. He scored in the lane.
He probably got called for a tech. He just went. He yelled something as he put up that push shot, and now I think he got called for a tech. Is that what it is?
No, LeBron is pleading the case as well.
Or did somebody in the stands say something?
Since one of the spectators said something.
Oh, maybe somebody on the bench. No, they got called for a tee. They got teed up.
He got teed up. I didn't see Luka say anything.
They just showed him. He screamed at him the second he put up the shot.
He screamed?
Yeah.
Oh. Did he just go like, ah? Or did he call him a name?
No, I'm pretty sure. I can't read lips specifically.
Not allowed to scream at the opponent.
But no, I think he yelled at an official. I think you're missing the fact that he put up a shot, it missed, and he turned to the official, and I'm paraphrasing here.
No, he made the shot.
I think, okay, well, either way, you're calling for a foul. Right, he wants an and one. He's calling for the foul.
I didn't see him scream at the official.
They just showed it in the replay where he turned to look at the ref.
No, that was after the whistle. I think he looked over at the ref and said, "What?" I thought he was reacting to the whistle. I
think you missed a pretty good part of that clip because he clearly, right after the shot, as he was running back down, turned and screamed something at the official.
That's a tech right there too. That was some trash talk right in the face of the OKC opponent after the block shot. That's Finney Smith. Is that who? Huh?
I believe that's Vanderbilt.
Oh, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Jared Vanderbilt.
Is in Caruso's face. He got the tech for that.
Did they call a tee for that too?
Pretty sure.
Okay, that's pretty weak. I mean, Luka's got a reputation, so if he's going to snipe at an official, it's probably like the 20th time that he's probably said something to that ref throughout the course of this game.
Just gave OKC a couple free points right there.
But
attacking another made free throw.
But that's pretty soft if you're going to call the tech on Vanderbilt.
I thought the first one was soft.
Ref's got thin skin. Probably said something like,
JJ Redick is unhappy. Anyway, right now it's 109-108 OKC, and the live total 254.5. How are you feeling?
Not great, because you can go to overtime pretty easily here too, right?
You got 259.5 or 258.5?
259.5.
There's a foul. Austin Reeves going to the free throw line.
I'm seeing. There's no way.
By the way, we're underway in Phoenix. Warriors closed 10.5-point favorites tonight.
By the way, so this is not the benefit of watching these in silence. Luka got ejected, I believe.
What's this?
Yeah, he yells at the official.
Okay, I see it on this angle.
He teed him up, and he got ejected.
Boy, that didn't look that bad.
Wow, he got ejected. He must have
said he was yelling at the fan.
Oh, so that's what the case was. So he
was yelling at the fan,
so that
not the ref.
So he gets the bucket, he turns, says something to the sideline, but the official's standing right there. The official takes it as him being yelled at, so he ejects him from the game.
I thought there was something going on. That's strange.
Wow, that's bad. All right, 110,
so
109.
Luke is out.
Yes, he is.
And, but the Lakers are up by 1 with 7 minutes to go. Does that mean do you live bet OKC now?
Maybe. I'll tell you what.
3.5.
You know what a good bet is though? Going to circlelasvegas.com, booking your stay, and using the promo code VSiN15 to get 15% off at a stay at Circa, the D, or Golden Gate. CircleLasVegas.com, promo code VSiN15.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with a step-back three, a stop, and a transition opportunity on the other side. And call that a foul or a goaltend. It is a goaltend. 119 to 112, 5:41 left to go in the fourth. For those who are just joining us and wondering, Thunder now up by 7. The beneficiaries of a very thin-skinned official who misconstrued Luka's sniping at the crowd for a shot at him and ejected him about 5 minutes ago. And this is now, in response, a 7-0 run or thereabouts for the Thunder since the ejection of one Luka Doncic.
Yeah, like you said, 120, 112, and the live line is 7.5. We went to commercial, it was 3.5.
Gets pretty crazy pretty quick.
Still got 5:41 to go. Live total is, right where you bet it, 259.5.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Warriors out to a 19-10 lead over the Suns. Golden State closed 10.5-point favorite. That live number is already up to 14.5. Who do the Suns have on the floor tonight?
Not many great players, I'll tell you that much. No Kevin Durant tonight. He has been injured, and the question will be is whether or not he is actually going to be out there the rest of the way. Starting lineup for the Phoenix Suns, an all-star crew. Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, you like that. Nick Richards, Ryan Dunn, Royce O'Neal. Your starting 5 for the Phoenix Suns. So not the greatest starting 5 to throw out there against a Golden State Warriors team that needs every win it can get. This stretch, think about this stretch for Golden State. They win 5 straight. Then they get to play host Sunday to the Houston Rockets. So I know you've talked about this. How much do you chalk up that Rockets win to the situation for the Warriors? Because we talked about that stretch. You and I were on the air for a couple of those
Brutal
games.
Stretch of tough games.
Yep, they had won 5 straight, but part of that, the back end was at Memphis, day off, at L.A., the Lakers. Then on the second leg of a back-to-back, they go back home and play the Nuggets. They win those games.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal stretch. They win those. They finally get a day off. Actually, they get Saturday off. A lot of them speak about how tiring that stretch was. And then after a day off, they play host to Houston, and they lose 106-96. Was that situationally a pretty tough spot to be in, or was that more about the Rockets proving they belong?
Half and half,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
The truth is usually somewhere in between. I'm going to go with that because I watched much of that replay late at night. You know, those Warriors those games get replayed on that 696 channel on DirecTV. Do you have that, Bay Area?
Yes, yeah, I have that.
I watched that replay late that night. That was a really bad scheduling spot because the Warriors had so many tough games in a row, and they came through that stretch with Would they go 4-1 or they won 4 in a row? I think, right?
What's that? They had won 5 in a row. The back end of that was the 3 and 4 that they had won. Yeah.
Well, also, I thought the Rockets did a great job on Stephen Curry that night, and he was off back-to-back huge games.
Sure.
And Amen Thompson really locked him down on the defensive end. I have not seen a defender really be that effective against Curry in a long time. And I also think the Rockets got away with a lot of holding. They were holding Curry off the ball, a lot of grabbing and holding that wasn't called that night. So I think it was a combination of fact. Curry was held to 3 points.
Yep. The
only shot he made was a 35-footer before the first half buzzer.
Yeah. All right, I have to report
but
something.
But it was a terrible situational spot. You're right.
I have something to report here. Look, there's a lot going on, so I apologize that we miss out on some. We have been really locked into this Thunder game as well. 95-71, the fourth quarter score with 10:09 left to go between the Timberwolves and the Bucks. Milwaukee trailed 95-71. They lead 103-98 now with 147 left to go.
105-98.
Part of a 30-3 run. They have outscored Minnesota in this fourth quarter 35-8.
Mm-hmm.
And have come storming back and could potentially win by double digits here in the fourth quarter. Minnesota was a 3.5-point favorite. Imagine sitting on minus 3.5 or so. Actually, I think this got bet up too because of the injury report. Let me double check where this opened.
Led by 24?
3.5 up to 6. Up 95-71 in the fourth. You're not going to come close to covering this number.
Led by 24 and now down by 7?
Crap, dude. Wow. I didn't actually look because I saw a tweet from a Timberwolves beat writer, which is just Edwards is feeling it now. So I'm like, oh, okay, they're up by 21. They're probably smoking them. We'll check back in every once in a while. And then I just get a text. I can't believe I'm not going to get Minnesota minus 3.5, which was the opening number. And then you look, holy smokes. What a comeback for Milwaukee. What a loss for Minnesota.
Was that Kelly Bidlin?
It was.
Okay. I looked at the VSiN Pro page. I saw he was on that game.
Yeah. And the Timberwolves, too. I mean, this is a seriously bad loss for Minnesota, who's trying to get their way out of the play-in. It's great for a team like the Clippers, who are going to be in action tonight against the San Antonio Spurs. Right now, they are tied record-wise with one another. But if this is going to hold, which it looks like it is, and the Clippers can get a win tonight as a pretty big favorite, big news here for LA to get out of the bottom 4 and get into the top 6. What a loss! Snaps a 5-game winning streak for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
That's an incredible turnaround in that game tonight. Kelly Bidlin's also got the best of it on this. How about Warriors minus 8 against the Suns?
Looks pretty good. They closed as 10-point favorites, and they are up 22-12. 4:53 left to go in the first. Yep,
up 10. But he definitely got the better of the number there. So
I would say Kelly Bidlin is the Jeff Sherman of NBA betting.
Always gets the best.
Always gets the best of it, baby. He's on it. Got his finger on the pulse.
I mentioned Ian Cameron. He's got Golden State team total over 118.5. You said you liked that play tonight, too.
What's showing that? I'm sorry?
Golden State team total over 118.5.
I think that makes some sense. Not the slowest pace. Got 22 points at 5 minutes left to go in the first. Got a coach's challenge. I don't know what's going to happen there. But Thunder now are starting to potentially distance themselves. But Lakers still have plenty of runway to get back into this thing. 122-115, 3:45 left to go in the fourth quarter. So we were going to have a night. Oh, Ted, throw him out. Throw him out.
That's hilarious.
How could you do that? LeBron just steamrolled an official on accident, of course.
Well, there's a lot of dribble pressure on LeBron James trying to bring the ball up like a point guard, and he just gets knocked off balance, bowls over the referee, and they all go into the first row of the stands, and that's a turnover on LeBron.
I got to find out. What was the...
He couldn't handle that. That's Dort. Dort forced him into that turnover. That's 18 for the Lakers, and only 6 turnovers for OKC.
We'll have to. I know we don't have updated odds potentially graphics wise for this, but the other interesting race we mentioned, Rookie of the Year with the Jalen Wells injury today. The other is obviously Defensive Player of the Year with Draymond, upwards of like a $4 favorite. The more media members are speaking out about this. Didn't get the chance to bring this up yesterday because there was a little something going on in college basketball. For Defensive Player of the Year, media members are letting it be known what their opinions are. I don't think Draymond's as high up on the list for a lot of media members than that the market thinks he is. And we're starting to see that reflect a little bit. It's down to minus 320.
Oh, boy. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, by the way, 42 points tonight for OKC.
But Evan Mobley, plus 330. Lou Dort, 5-1. Then you get Dyson Daniels, a great barrier thief, at 35-1. that another 3?
Lakers letting go of the rope now. Yep. Here's that OKC pull away that we talked about in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
All of a sudden, a 1-point game is a 14-point game. 129-115 Thunder.
So a total 256.5. Sweating this out down to the bitter end. But I would just say that I do think that Lou Dort is more alive to win this thing than people are giving him credit for. He is respected amongst NBA media members. Mm-hmm. A lot of people know that he gets the toughest assignment for the Oklahoma City Thunder. The gap is not this great for Draymond Green. Right. He does not have this high. He does not have, I will reiterate, he does not have this high of a probability of winning this award. This is absolutely a mispriced market. And I will say,
who would you bet right now? Would you bet both? I know you've got a bet on this.
I've got Lou Dort, and
what number did you get?
I've got him at 12-1, 11-1.
That's a great number.
Well,
don't you feel like it's a coin flip that he wins it?
Sure, I would think it's a lot tighter, especially because. And by the way, it's not the best number he could have gotten because he floated really far out for a while after everything was reset. So there's the name to potentially monitor that I think has a better shot than people are giving him credit for. Let me get this number absolutely correct here. Because you want a good defensive player on a good defensive team, right? I mean, it sounds pretty simplistic, but that's what you're looking at right now. Let's see, fourth best defense in the NBA, giving up 110.2 points per 100 possessions in non-garbage time. Ivica Zubac, if you hear from some media members, in fact, one did make it known that right now, Zubac is his leader in the clubhouse for it. Tim Bontemps has put it out there on the Windhorse podcast that he thinks he might be voting for Zubac for Defensive Player of the Year. So again, it just speaks to, I think this is way more wide open than what this market would tell you right now. The voters tend to gravitate towards centers and power forwards for Defensive Player of the Year. It's been kind of known that that's what they look for. And while Draymond is that power forward-esque type player, I think a lot of people might look at the starting center for a team that's the fourth best defense in the NBA, and that is Ivica Zubac, who has been one of the key pieces for a Clippers team that has quietly been playing at a very high level. And I think that he is worth a small play at 50-1. At the very least, the probability of him winning this thing is higher than what 50-1 would indicate. Just give it a shot.
Are you going to bet it?
Here's the other part.
I think you should take a shot at 50-1.
You're right. Yeah. And I went looking for him around town. Some spots don't even have him listed.
Field bet?
Yeah, I got to try to find him.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I got to try to find where he's. I want to find somewhere where he's listed. I can get something down. Yeah,
he's up at DraftKings 50-1.
Make the little jaunt over the Hoover Dam.
Have somebody bet that for you.
At 50-1.
OKC up 15 with 150 to go. SGA's having a huge night. He might get 50 tonight.
Might win the MVP too.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Rope officially let go of 136-118. Final minute ticking away here. Thunder are going to get a win. They're going to get a cover over the Los Angeles Lakers.
Easy cover.
Yes, indeed. So this one, of course, all done. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are going to point to potentially the calls. Lakers did have many more free throws than the Oklahoma City Thunder, but it's going to go back to the Luka ejection. And also would very much like, we're still sweating out here. The total is 254. And that is a missed 3. Let's chill out. All right. Sportsmanship. We don't need to keep scoring here. Sweat out under 259.5 in game. I think I got this.
Well, you don't need back-to-back threes.
Don't tell me that's what's going to happen.
You're lucky you got a missed 3 right there. So, now I'm going to say you're probably going to be okay.
All right, dribble it out like professionals here. We got 256. Total's 259.5. I think I can breathe. I think I'm okay.
OKC, 43 points in the first quarter, 37 in the second, 39 in the fourth. What happened in the third quarter? 17 points.
I have no idea. And
this game is going to stay under that live total you bet of 259.5, and that's going to be appears the final score, 136-120.
Okay. All right, and I do want to clarify, too, because I think the way we were presenting it, I think we were making it sound like Luka got ejected for the act of what he did. He was actually called for his second technical in that moment. So that's what got him ejected. He was not ejected for the action. It was the second technical of the night. So it makes it, I guess,
29-12 for the Thunder since Luka got ejected.
Oh, man.
Huh?
We're going to hear about that afterward. Can we get a live stream of J.J. Redick and the press conference after this? Because at some point, he's probably just going to let it rip, right? 42.6 assists and 6 rebounds for one Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tonight. I would say it's pretty good.
Yeah, the MVP race is over, whether we like it or not, and that's just the way the voting's going to go.
Yeah,
the Joker's going to have probably the greatest season ever by a player who's going to finish second in MVP voting, right?
Oh, it probably is no doubt. There's no doubt he's going to have the best season of a non-MVP voter. I don't know. I think we'll look back and wonder what happened this year, Matt, when the history books are written about the NBA. I wanted to point this out for our audience. A couple of things. If you're just joining us, the story of the night is not Lakers Mavericks. It's not the fact that the Indiana Pacers have almost potentially failed to win a game in which they were 19-point favorites. They ended up winning. Mm-hmm. The story is out in Milwaukee, where the Minnesota Timberwolves were up 95-71 in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left to go and lost by 7, 110 to 104.
That's wild. I mean, you see some crazy things in the NBA, and that's right there near the top of the list.
They were outscored 39-8 down the home stretch of that game and outscored in totality 40-13 in the fourth quarter.
You said we know somebody on the wrong end of that, too,
so I have to. He does a great job. And this is the association, man. Nights are going to be like this. Our own Zach Cohen. Money line on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tough. Also the Knicks money line. For those who don't remember, the Knicks were up.
He took a double whammy tonight.
Yeah, Jason Tatum hit a 3 with 2.4 seconds left to go or thereabouts, and the Celtics ended up winning in overtime 119-117. Good night for me, though, because I got the Celtics team total over, and this in-game under.
Yeah, you did.
There we go. Knew it the whole time. Never a doubt.
Well, you got a good number on the total, and you bet it at the right time, under 159.5. So, nice job with you. And actually, what's that? 259.
It went over 159.5.
Luka ejected with 7:40 to go, and again, that proved to be a difference in the game. The Lakers get outscored 29-12 after that. I don't think it's that simple, though, right? Luka gets ejected, and then all of a sudden the Thunder just trounce the Lakers down the stretch.
Because here's the thing. You still gave up 21 points in the final 7 minutes and 40 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
Luka is not
He's not a defensive stopper.
Yes. It explains why your offense could struggle down the stretch. But defensively, you were having trouble all night. And that is going to be, I think, the story of this game. And the story for we hit on this in our preview, and you talked about this. The inability to accurately evaluate the Los Angeles Lakers, not by any fault of your own, but just because they've been so helter-skelter on defense. You just don't know exactly what they're going to be. And again, here tonight, I mean, screw the Luka ejection. You had a defensive rating of 134.3 tonight. That's brutal. You're not going to win many games doing that. You're going to have to try to outscore your opponent.
That's actually with a great defensive third quarter, too.
That's a very great point, right? How many points did they score in the third quarter? 17.
Yeah.
And then you still gave up an offensive rating of 134.3.
Right.
That's absolutely insane when you look at it from that perspective. Yeah, I don't know what this team's going to be. I don't think they're going to be a real threat because if they're not going to play, and it's you go back, it's so funny because there's a few Laker fans that were in my mentions, and I haven't heard from them lately because when you're holding the Hornets that you play twice or the Jazz that you play twice, and immediately you get Luka Doncic, and you're holding them down, and you're like, this is great. By the way, can we just point out, too, because everybody kept hanging their hat on one big win when Luka came in. Do you remember what that game was? I believe it was a Saturday night.
Oh, when they beat the Nuggets.
They beat the Nuggets, and everybody's like, see, they're a great team. Well, the Nuggets are falling apart. They just fired their head coach. They don't look like a legitimate threat.
That was a good win for the Lakers.
It was, but my whole point is a lot of people were using that as the, see, this is legitimate, when I think the reality is a little bit closer to the middle, as it always is.
Yeah, of course. In the NBA, you cannot overreact to anything. By the way, if you overreact as an NBA bettor, you're going to get killed.
Yes.
You cannot be overreacting to stuff you see in the NBA.
I would agree with that.
Things are going to regress to the mean or whatever, however you want to phrase it. The Lakers are not as great as they looked that night. And in Denver, and they've proven that since, right?
Yes. I do want to point
They were not as great as they looked Sunday in OKC.
Yeah. Can we also?
What do we have?
I got to update something for you here. My guy, who I go way back with, Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
Not going great. We are already over the total.
Oh, what happened?
Between Sacramento and San Diego. It is 6-3 in the bottom of the first inning. Dylan Cease in 2/3 of work so far. 6 hits, 6 earned runs. He has not gotten a strikeout. He has given up a walk. That's wild. The box score reads as follows.
He just got a strikeout to end the inning.
Single, a Rooker lines out to left. He walks Soderstrom. So you got runners on first and second. You get a fly out to left. Butler advances to third. And then a double, a single, a double, a single. Just death by paper cuts. Just could not miss any bats tonight. And the Athletics played 6 games over the total in the first.
There you go. The launching pad up in Sacramento.
I mean, is that
over the total in the first inning? How many times is that going to happen this season?
Not many. That's wild. You think that's that stadium, or do you think that's just Cease not being on?
Well, it's
again when we're talking about single, double, single, like it's not like they were cranking out home runs.
It's not home runs, but yeah, I think that's more Dylan Cease that's being off tonight.
Wow. Imagine having that.
He's a very good pitcher, but again, a lot of these starting pitchers are not ready to go when the season starts, and that's why they're limited to 70 pitches or on a strict pitch count, whatever it may be. Obviously, he doesn't have it tonight. I've talked about this with Blake Snell. I've talked about it with Snell many times in the past few years. He's a slow starter. Snell is a guy you love to bet against in the first couple months, maybe 2.5 months of the season. Second half of the season, that's a guy you really never want to bet against.
Yep.
And Dylan Cease, obviously, off to a really poor start tonight.
Snell, the season is going to be pretty slow to start for Snell because he did hit the IL yesterday, for those who did miss it, left shoulder inflammation. So he is going to miss a little bit of time. No structural damage as it was reported. And look, it kind of looked like classic Blake Snell when we were watching some of his most recent start, where he was scuffling around. Tim and I were here watching his start against the Braves. And couldn't find the strike zone, wasn't really happy, was kind of chatting at the officials and the umpire, the home plate ump, didn't like some of the calls. Ended up getting 5 runs scored against him, was only charged with 1 because of the defense, but still didn't really look right. And I think it does make some sense that he is getting shut down from throwing for at least 1 week. We'll see what he looks like after that. Holy smokes. What a night there. The other baseball scores we should note, very low total between Houston and Seattle. So far through 4, it is living up to those expectations. We are scoreless, but Astros are threatening right now with runners on the corners and 1 out. Diamondbacks tied 2-2 at home against the Baltimore Orioles. I should say we're at the bottom of the 4th inning there. And Milwaukee out in Colorado with 6 runs to their name right now, top of the 7th inning, trying to get to 6-5 after a rough start to the year. And Cincinnati, 1-0. But the Reds lead 1-0 over the San Francisco Giants. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe. $59. That's how many runs were scored in the first inning between the Padres and the A's. VSiN.com/subscribe. $59. Everything we do until August 1st for less than $60. And that includes our exclusive betting splits data, which you get from both DraftKings and Circa. We wrap up VSiN Primetime next.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is getting pretty wild out in Sacramento. If you are just joining us, the total for A's and Padres closed at 8.
I thought that was a low total, too.
It seemed low, and the baseball gods have deemed it so because the game went over the total in the first inning, 6-3. Well, in the top of the second, after that frame, the Padres loaded the bases with no outs. Now, Manny Machado came to the plate, struck out. He swung at 3 pitches, garbage. But right now we have a fly out. So runners on the corners, Padres cut into the deficit. They now trail by 6-4. But while he was up at the plate, the broadcast had thrown up that Manny Machado was hitting .355 for his career with 12 grand slams, with the bases loaded, obviously. So we asked, that seems like a lot. It's got to be near the top. You guessed correct nearly. The record for most grand slams in a career is 25.
That many?
Would you happen to know who is number 1? Who holds that record? They are retired.
Joe DiMaggio.
No. Alex Rodriguez.
A-Rod had 25?
Major's all-time leader in grand slams. 25 grand slams.
Wow.
Off 25 different pitchers. How about that?
That's crazy.
How about that little wrinkle?
That's a great trivia question.
That is. Absolutely great.
So Manny's not even halfway there with his 12 grand slams.
No. To round out the top 3, Lou Gehrig has 23, and Manny Ramirez has 21.
Okay.
So those are your top 3. And then you get into Eddie Murray, who has 19, and there's a tie. Willie McCovey and Robin Ventura both have 18.
I remember Robin Ventura had a bunch, yeah.
But most Grand Slams, 25. And like you said, Manny Machado, not even halfway. But this is crazy.
6-4, top of the second. Padres got runners on the corners and 2 outs. Matt Shrewsbury of Fresno, California.
Oh, he's out there.
He might be at the game tonight. He bet this over the total of 8.
He said he was out there, right? Or am I misremembering?
He might be at Sacramento tonight. He said the temperature was 71 degrees at first pitch.
Gotcha.
He bet the
loaded,
over.
No outs, and only played 1 run. Not great.
Talk about a rocking chair winner tonight.
Oh, imagine if you bet the under.
Well, you don't have to worry about hope. It's over.
No. You know what Tim Murray says?
I do.
You do. If you have this over the total, pretty good best bet. And best bet's brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. Nothing in baseball, but of course, a little golf tournament later this weekend, Matt.
Yeah, let's go Masters best bets. We're going to go Scotty Scheffler. I did play him a plus 450, plus 475 right now at Circa. I think if you want to grab it, that's about the best you're going to find. You might get a 5-1 offshore, but that's kind of an insurance policy in case Scheffler wins and all these other long shot plays go up in smoke. But I do like Scheffler top 5 as well. I played him top 5 at minus 110. Plus 450 to win. Colin Morikawa, 18-1. Right now in DraftKings, that's the best number you're going to find. I also played Morikawa top 10 at plus 140. Bryson DeChambeau at 20-1. Also top 20 at, top 10 at about plus 200. Jordan Spieth, 40-1, top 20, plus 110. Joaquin Niemann, 42-1, top 20, plus 110. Shane Lowry, 45-1, top 20, plus 120. Sepp Straka, plus, he's a 75-1. I have not played that yet, but I'm going to play Sepp Straka top 20 at plus 200, 2-1 odds. I did take a couple of long shots. Dustin Johnson at 130-1 and Justin Rose at 125-1. Justin Rose, obviously a player who's almost won at Augusta. Almost.
Yeah, he's
lost in the playoff, and DJ has won there before. Those were just based on numbers, and these guys are not in bad form. So I could see DJ or Rose creeping up on the leaderboard on the weekend, and everyone's saying, where'd that guy come from? Well, a lot of odds value there, and Justin Rose 125-1 and DJ 130. So I think my favorite play, my best bet's going to be Colin Morikawa. I usually regret that when I say it with him, but he's in good form. All the statistics point to him playing well at Augusta. He has in the past. Top 10, looks like plus 150 would be the best price you can get on Morikawa top 10. So I'm going to go Morikawa, and I think Shane Lowry top 20 at plus 120 is a very good bet as well. Yep. I got a question here from Chad Andrus, a Denver radio host who's been on with us several times. What's up?
Really quick, let's put a bow on this. New customers over at G-Bank, who's always up at the ante, get up to a $750 bonus with a new G-Bank Visa Signature Card. If you spend $1,000, eligible purchases at 90 days, $250 bonus. And if you spend $50K on gaming and sports app loads within 30 days, you receive another $500 bonus. Together, $750 bonuses. Apply now at VSiN.com/GBank, VSiN.com/GBank, subject to credit approval, terms and conditions apply. Chad Andrus.
Couldn't wait to read that, huh? Fired up.
Well, I mean, it's our job.
Part of the best bets, Chad Andrus asked, Denver Radio says, who would you bet to be the first-round leader? And that's always a tough handicap. But I'm going to go.
It's very random.
It is random. You got to look at guys who've been off to hot starts or played very well in first rounds in the past. We're going to go with Russell Henley and also going to go with Sepp Straka. How about that?
Okay, like it.
It's tough to win those first-round leader bets.
I am I will tail you on Justin Rose. I will have him as part of my portfolio heading into the Masters starting on Thursday.
Very high number. I think Circa might still be, 130.
So one of the things that I like to do is, you look at, you talk about course history all the time. Data Golf has a great tool where you can look at course history, look at the way the guys have played. Over 66 rounds, if you look at it by true strokes gained, he is 10th best in the field. Yeah. Over 66 rounds played. Rose has always played well at Augusta. You mentioned the playoff. He has been pretty tight. And to get a guy with that long history and playing at such a high level over a very large sample size, you would think at some point he's got to break through.
He's not that old. He's 44, which is, it seems like he's been around forever, but 44, not that old. Definitely not too old to win the Masters. And he also won a tournament on a correlated course. If you look at players who've played well at Pebble Beach, they tend to play well at Augusta, and Justin Rose has won at Pebble Beach as well. So there we go. Best bets. Check out the VSiN Pro page because I see Kelly Bidlin, Wes Reynolds, Matt Brown, several others checking in with best bets for Augusta.
On the VSiN Pro page, did you see Stormy Bonatoni? As she tweets out 15 seconds ago, we continue to ride the wave. 5-0 to the over in Sacramento. 4 of the 5 have cashed in the 5th inning or earlier.
6-4 right now. A's on top of the Padres. And I think, that's going to kill the rally.
Yes,
but the A's had a runner on first right there. Doesn't really matter. The game's over the total. So.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can't take back the runs.
As long as the game does not get rained out, which I don't think is going to happen tonight. You got a winner if you bet over the total in Sacramento. Warriors up 58-35 on the Suns, so they are trying to take care of business tonight. Live number is Golden State minus 23.5.
And the Clippers with a very good opportunity in front of them because the Timberwolves blew that game tonight. Tied early, 4:51 left to go in the first, 16-16 with the San Antonio Spurs. Again, Timberwolves blowing a massive lead, 95-71 in the fourth quarter to lose a game to the Milwaukee Bucks. Tomorrow, really quickly, you will not be here, but it is another loaded slate in the association tomorrow. The headliner is going to be Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on ESPN. The Denver Nuggets. We will see them in action for the first time since the firing of Michael Malone and since the loss to the Indiana Pacers. Very excited to see this. Nuggets a 2-point favorite on the road right now with a total of 234.5. That'll probably be the game of the night tomorrow.
How do you think the Nuggets respond to Michael Malone's firing? Because I assume I don't know. Maybe he wasn't liked by the players.
So I would ask anybody to go up on Twitter, go to VSiN, our VSiN Live, our account. We have a clip up now from about 30 minutes ago or so. Matt Moore, who covers the Nuggets, does a pretty good job. Joined Dustin and Patrick over on the SiriusXM show, and there's a great clip that you can watch. And in part of it, you kind of hear Matt recount a story where he asks essentially like, "Hey, why aren't these guys listening to you?" And Malone says he doesn't know, but that the players actually stuck up for Malone in the same day and said, no, like, it's on us. So there seems to be a backing of the players for Malone. In other words, maybe they show out, but it's more of an FU to everything going on here because just by one account, it would seem that the players kind of liked Malone, at least some of the key members. I mean, why would Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. not like the guy who led them to an NBA Finals?
I would think so, but things can change in the NBA. He's a hard ass, right?
Yep.
I just find it interesting tomorrow night, the handicap, because a lot of times after a coach is fired, that team's going to be a play on in the next game, but I don't know if that's going to be the case with the Nuggets.
I mean, GM's gone, head coach is gone.
Right.
It seems to be a very odd situation, especially a team that fancied itself a contender coming into the year and now has a lot of questions about what's going to happen. All right, Coming up next, cashing out. Joe Sorrell is going to take you the rest of the way. Primetime back tomorrow at its usual time. Me and Tim will have you. We'll see you.